How to date after a toxic relationship. How to look forward into a new relationship after a toxic relationship. My name is Coach Andres. I'm a certified life and relationship coach. I'm here to help. And what I'm going to talk about this is more about laying the foundation, 9 steps, 9 tips on how to date, how to create that excitement for a relationship after a toxic relationship. And I'm very sorry and very sensitive to what anyone's gone through in a toxic relationship, because I've coached a lot of people who have most of the time gone through something like that. And that's why they come to me. They're trying to come to me as a coach and hire my services to break this toxic behavior, this toxic trend. Why am I always attracted to this toxic person? Or you're so heartbroken after a toxic breakup. And what I try to do is help this life coaching situation towards a relationship goal, which leads to number 1, how to have a foundation, how to date after a toxic relationship. Well, it's a life coaching lesson. It's a life coaching goal. It's a life coaching step, which is take care of yourself. Take care of yourself and don't downplay, don't undervalue those words. Toxic relationships leave you drained. Toxic breakups leave you low. Toxic situations they take so much out of you. And I think we've all been there in some form, that we just literally want to get out of there and find something that's exciting and different than what that is. But you're going to repeat the same mistake with a different person. You need to take care of yourself. You need to regroup, recharge, rest, recover in every way possible when it comes to like your mental health, your physical fitness, your social life with your friends and loved ones, your focus on your work or your personal goals, your sleep, your hydration, everything from your meditation to your spirituality to your core of who you are. Take care of it. I get the understanding, the temptation to go date or go on a dating app or go on to a rebound or go back to someone's in the past to kind of just move forward and move on from someone that you just had a toxic effect on you. But that's not the way to do it. It might feel good at the moment as an instant distraction, but still hasn't taken care of that scar, that feeling, that heartbreak, that pain, that wound of that toxic relationship you're in. So taking care of yourself is essential. Let me read into this. There's an old saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. But put more simply, you can't give what you don't have. So if you're looking for a relationship, you're trying to move on, you're trying to better yourself, and you're trying to see if someone's out there that is really more for you than your past relationship or a toxic ex, you can't give what you don't have, because you're still learning or you're still healing from the toxic previous relationship. An abusive relationship, a toxic relationship, takes a toll on you physically and emotionally and more mentally. It can leave you drained, where you don't trust anyone. You don't believe anyone. And wondering if a healthy relationship is even possible. So you put yourself in this low point, which is understandable. You put yourself in this negative mindset, which is understandable. You put yourself in this fearful attitude, which is very understandable because of a toxic person, toxic breakup, toxic relationship, which you had a part in all of it. So part of you doesn't see what toxic is, or a part of you is toxic and you don't know. It takes 2. I'm very sorry what happened to you in that situation. I'm sorry that a toxic person did something to you, but it takes 2 to be a part of that. Either you don't know what it is and now you do, you enabled it, or a part of you might be somewhat toxic. You need to separate yourself from that past experience. You need to detach yourself and rewire yourself by taking care of who you are, to put something in your cup, to give something you know you want, to have something you can give for the next relationship. And it starts with your health, with your mindfulness, with your intuition, with your spirituality, with your fitness, with your who makes you who you are. Everything you were before that toxic relationship, I'm sure there was something you can relate, connect, and be like, wow, I wish I could get back to who I was then. What happened to me? Because you haven't taken the time to prioritize this moment of taking care of yourself. You need to commit to this. Stay disciplined to taking care of yourself if you want another relationship, if you really want to move on with confidence, with strength, with courage, compared to just jumping from relationship to relationship, toxic. Same result, different face, different name. I've seen it too much. I've seen it too often. And they wonder how to break it. And I was like, you need to date yourself. You need to really commit to yourself. Say no to the dating apps. Say no to the temptation. Say no to that way of living for a little while to get yourself better, to get back out there. Leaving was the first step of a toxic relationship, of a toxic breakup. Next is healing the emotional wounds and learning what a healthy relationship looks like. When the trauma is left unresolved, it can leave you vulnerable to repeating the past. Another scenario is when I coach different women who are recently divorced because of an ugly divorce, ugly situation, ugly breakup. They're so vulnerable and ironically excited to meet anyone who's not their ex, anyone who's different from their ex. And they get caught up with something, if it's a situationship or a casual thing or even like a serious intent to date. And it's because they're just trying to find any level of joy, pure light, or happiness of anyone who's not like their ex. But it's not a healthy way to date. It's not a healthy way to move on because there's still something there that's unresolved. And it makes you vulnerable to, unfortunately, most of those times when I coach that situation, they come to me with that. Usually they date a love bomber, someone who ghosts them, someone who plays them, someone who just kind of gets what they want from them because they see that vulnerability. There is almost like a smell, like almost like a cologne or a perfume people wear, and it just reeks of vulnerability because they're desperate, they're too available, too easygoing, no standards, no boundaries, and kind of self-destruct. We've all been there in some form, so I'm not trying to say, oh, shame on you. No, we've all been there. But that's not the way to go on to another relationship. That's not the way to move on from a past toxic, bad relationship to something new and something better. If you want that something new and better, take care of yourself. Talking to a relationship coach or a therapist, send me a message. Help you understand you're not alone. You don't have to be alone to how to understand this trauma, how to learn from the situation, how to heal in a healthy way by taking care of yourself. If you don't do it, nobody else will do it. If you don't do it, nobody wants to do it for you. And if you don't do it, you're going to repeat the same mistake with someone else because there's unresolved trauma within yourself. You don't trust someone. You want to control the situation. You're emotionally blocked, maybe a little too naive. Another common scenario is when usually someone's in a toxic relationship, they're such a people pleaser and a giver because they always attract that narcissist or that taker in someone. They bring that same approach or the same effort to the new guy. Give to a point where someone's going to take advantage of it. Why aren't you giving enough back to yourself? There is something the way you date if you've gone through a toxic breakup or a toxic relationship or marriage that is not working within you. Yes, the other person takes a lot of the responsibility of it, a lot of the blame for it, but there's a part of you that's not working. It's not doing what it should do. It's not feeling right. Something's off. Take care of yourself first and commit to yourself, and taking care of yourself is the first step on how to get ready for another relationship after a toxic relationship. Stay tuned. Subscribe to my channel because I'm going to go into the next step right after this. Take care.